Pukekohe. We've also got the Bayroskal Vikings up 14-4 over the Ellerslie Eagles. New Lynn, they've got a 20-0 lead over Papatoetoe Panthers. Manukau are up 22-0 against Pakuranga. And Otara Ponsonby, now that one shapes as a real thriller. Troy, 2 semi-finalists from last year, and it is the Scorpions who have a 2-point lead in a high-scoring game there, 22-20.
Wow.
The Waitemata Seagulls 10, Mount Wellington Warriors back in the premiership after a few years out. They trail 10-0 at the break. And the Hibiscus Coast Raiders 6-4 up over the Te Atatū Roosters. Also got some halftime updates from here in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. And over at Birkenhead War Memorial, it is the defending champions, the Glenora Bears, who lead the Northcote Tigers 12 points to 6. In Grey Lynn, it is the Otahu Leopards who are up 18-6 over Richmond. It's the third week in a row. The Leopards have taken a halftime lead into the game, so obviously real fast starters this year under coach John Ackland. Mount Albert, they're up comfortably 22-6 over the Marist Saints. And over at Prince Edward Park out south, it is Point Chevalier with a narrow 8-0 lead over the Papakura Sea Eagles. So that is the wrap of the halftime action here. Do keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz in the immediate aftermath of this game. We will have all the results for you, as well as match reports from all of the games around the ground. We're bringing you a better experience than ever before this year on our digital platforms here at the Auckland Rugby League. So check us out, aucklandleague.co.nz, and give us a like and a follow on Facebook and Twitter, as well as Instagram and Snapchat. So the two teams making their way back out onto the field here in Troy. I've got a fair idea how the Howick Hornets talk will have gone at the break. Pretty well a near faultless at times first half from them. Fell away a little bit there in the middle of the first half. But for Mangere East, what do you think the key message will be from Coach Matt Pilmer?
Complete these sets of 6. They've got to show a wee bit of patience around that, probably some urgency in the defence line. You know, I think we said at the outset, you know, 10, 15 minutes, they still weren't really into the game. It was a very slow start. Once they actually got into the game, they managed to get some territory, and they put some points on the board. So here we go again for the second half. Howick Hornets kicking off. Great catch as the Hawks take it out from their 20, and back to you, Corey.
So the scoreline does all the talking really in terms of what needs to happen for the Hawks. They need to be first to score, and then they probably need to put a few together to make a contest of this one. As Limoni finds Halalilo there on a nice run. Fresh legs on the park in the shape of the co-captain Natane V. Mangere East Hawk Juniors played for Counties Manukau. Spent some time over at St. George, Illawarra in the SG Bull setup. Played some under-20s there as well. V finds Lemoni, who dribbles a little kick in behind. It's a tricky one here. It's not fielded initially by Tussa. Andre Singh's got some work to do here. Lemoni, great kick chase. They're going to get him in goal. Fantastic work. Mangere East Hawks.
Great start.
And put it down there to Lemoni. Puts a clever kick in, and more importantly, chases it. He's the first one there. And it is back-to-back sets for the Hawks. So that is exactly the start Coach Matt Pilmer would have wanted. They're going to put a little bit of pressure on here. So Papa gets us back. Lemoni under it. Hands it off to Tiriaiti.
Looking for another strong carry.
V hands off to Kalaota, former Otahu Leopard. V, Lemoni now to Halalilo. Halalilo holds it up. Halalilo is going to go close. Good wrap-up tackle in the end by Tussa. Little dart out of dummy half there by Morgan Salaisi, who's going to be held up. Time is off. Fortunately, our clock hasn't started for the second half.
Get a time check for you, mate.
Natane V hands off to Lemoni. Brown with a little juggle. Back in field now to Jacob Tamua. Little kick in behind. There's going to be a knock on there from Tau. And so the Hawks really made a positive start to the second half. It's going to be 3 consecutive uses of the ball. Jethro Friend and Tony Tuia is having a quick chat there to referee Taylor. So the scrum to pack down. V to Salisi. Finished off by Morris over the top. Afoa to Brown. Try out this right edge now. Malisila fight. Kossi. Heads back infield here to Moore. So good defence from the Hornets so far. It's a very slow play of the ball, and rightly a penalty. There as Tony Tuia took an age to roll out. V had other ideas, wanted to get things back underway. Kalauta. So they're pushing hard here, the Hawks, but so far the Hornets with an answer to everything. R4 plays at the line. Limoni spills out the back. Play on. It's all good. She's gone backwards. Finau. 3 meters off the line. Limoni shuffles left. Halalilo's going to go close. They're there in numbers. The 5-man tackle from the Hornets. Held up is the call. Back to the 10 we go. This is great defense here from the home side. Howie Brown thinks about the offload and then has a second thought and says, I will do that now. Tamua's into a bit of space. Absolute wrecking ball. This guy had a great game last week. He's going to go very close here. And once again, we're going to have held up is the call. But so far, Troy Howick, they just keep showing up in defence. That's about 4 sets in a row they've had to defend now, and they've got answers for everything.
Well, they're showing good discipline on the line down here. However, Howick need to quick play the ball here and try and convert.
Brown dribbles a little kick in behind. It's touched by Howick. Play on is the call at this stage. Loose ball.
Referees.
And that is going to be a try, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go.
Might get a little bit of a replay on that.
Yeah, well, I think we'll need one because I'm not too sure who it was that got over eventually. Let's take a look now on the SAS replay. And it's Howie Brown who dabs the little kick in behind. It is touched by Howick, and then it just takes a devil of a bounce. They're doing their best to field it. And we're none the wiser as to the try scorer, but all that matters from a Hawks point of view is that all of a sudden they have their second try of the match.
And that came off the back of a really good set. You know, they managed to get up higher in the count there and convert points. We're only just talking about that, and I can hear the trainer out there telling them to get their heads up now, drive a wee bit of confidence inside the team as the boys are walking back to the halfway, getting ready for the kickoff.
Really polar opposites in the two halves for Mangere East so far. Very sluggish to start the first one, but the second half, they've come out, their halves have kicked well, and they've shown great patience on the ball, completed a few sets.
Absolutely, and that'll give them a wee bit of self-belief, Corey, as they look now to convert that try and then get set to, you know, run it outside their half and probably get back down a bit more territory and have another crack. Kick's good.
Brown guides it through from in front, and it is 42-12. Well, it's still a hell of a mountain to climb, but the mountain just got a little smaller. But a great start to the second half here for the Burger King Mangere East Hawks.
Sun comes out, looking good.
Back into it we go. Tiriaiti off the back fence, big carry forward, but an equally enthusiastic chase from the Hornets, led by Wilson.
Oh, good tackle.
Hands off to Kalauta. who's been good off the bench today. R4 so often seems to jump into first receiver, does junior R4, almost playing as that third playmaker.
Oh,
and a little bobble.
Yeah, really didn't need that. You know, we just started to get a wee bit of pressure up, you know, building a bit of momentum, and just a silly mistake there.
And it's a disappointing one because it comes off their enthusiasm there. He's looking for that quick play of the ball. Felt like they were getting on a roll, and unfortunately just a little bobble at the play of the ball, wasn't much in it. But Howick now, would you believe it? It's going to be their first use of the ball in the second half.
Howick going to have to work hard here now.
Singh hands it off to Morris. Made a bit of an impact off the bench, has Connor Morris today. We saw him with a nice little break down the right edge earlier and been heavily involved. Tal, 30 metres out.
Some enthusiasm shown on the line there by the Mangere East Hawks.
Papa to Morris, a little bit of footwork. Well tackled though, that's good defence from Mangere East. Got to be careful not to concede a ruck penalty there. Papa heads down the short side. Tussa steps back inside. They need to get a hand on this guy. Wilson now involved. Tamua to the rescue, eventually takes him down. Topo. Radish takes it to the line. Radish dancing his way through. He's already got 2 tries. Is he going to get a third? Not on that play. Good defence from the Hawks. And handover is the call. So great work, Mangere East. Well, they were impressive in attack to start the second half and equally impressive in defence on that occasion. And it's a different looking team so far. Where was this team in the first half? Where was this team as they conceded 42 points? Lamoni keen to get things going. They're going to attack down the left edge here. Lahingo, he's going to do well to stay in here. Does do well indeed. Just tuck the legs up there, Troy. Just
right
as
here
well.
in front of us, mate.
Limoni. The outside backs now coming in looking for work. This is a good sign for the Hawks. V. Goes to Howie Brown, who drives the kick down. Everyone's back for Howick. Singh fields it on the full. Looks up and sees a swarm of green in front of him. Dances around a little bit. Kalaota gets the first contact, makes the tackle.
Howick Hornets slow to get back on side. Slowly trundling into position now.
Just short of halfway now, the Hornets.
Oh,
And there's a basic error from Cruz Topo out of dummy half. And all of a sudden in this half, it is the Howick Hornets shooting themselves in the foot. It was Mangere East in the first half, but a few basic errors already from the home side.
Hawks slow to the scrum. Oh,
Tamua breaks off the first one. Super impressed with this guy. Been very good in the 2 games we've covered him so far. We mentioned he spent some time over at the Roosters as an SG ball player. As a Mangere East junior, one of several Mangere East juniors in this team, in fact predominantly made up of local juniors. R4 battles in the play of the ball. V hands it off to Illy, back on the field now for his second stint in this game. V jumps out of dummy half. He can see the markers aren't quite back. They're going to work the short side now. Brown hands it off. They're going to go in the corner. That's going to be a beautiful try. We wait for confirmation from our referee. It's Edward Cossey who's gone over. Simon Taylor points to the spot. And the Mangere East Hawks are in again, and that time, Troy, just a nicely worked move. Let's take a look on the replay. It starts with a good carry forward there by Kalani Ili. And then it's smart from V. Looks up, sees he's got the numbers advantage. Brown sums it up beautifully. Molly Sealafai takes it to the line, and then the
Nice
old
offload, yeah.
Kurt Gidley flick pass out the back, and then from there, beautiful finish from Edward Cossey.
Great set of hands by the back line there. And they showed a wee bit of that last week as well when they did, you know, go lateral. They've got some good backs out there, and they certainly can throw the ball around.
And I think that's really the frustrating thing with this team is that, you know, when they do complete a few sets and get going, boy, they're up there with the best attack we've seen. You know, they've got a lot of class there, but it's just, I guess, getting into that habit of just being able to stay in the grind and then take opportunities off the back of it. But a lovely try there from Cossey in the corner. Howie Brown faced with a difficult one here.
Just comes back to the opening, Corey. You know, we were talking about it then, you know, 10, 15 minutes in, they were down 30-odd points. I think at that point, you can't afford to be giving away that sort of lead to a team like the Howick Hornets. Waved
And
away.
Brown is away with the kick.
Yeah, the Howick Hornets coming up now, ready to kick off as we can hear the Mangere East Hawks down the back here, and the vocals now starting to lift up. There's a bit of volume in it. They're showing a wee bit of urgency.
So back underway now. Limoni fields it. And a high shot there, so it's all coming up Hawks so far. They get the penalty here. They're going to kick for touch. They're going to start this set right on halfway. You can see there in shot one of our referees there with the referees website, arlrefs.co.nz. If you are interested in becoming a referee, check them out. Always looking for new members. Back underway we go. Whangupole takes it forward now. 45 metres off the line. Good carry from Halalilo. They're playing with enthusiasm, other visitors. V appealing for the penalty. Not going to get it. A four jumps into first receiver. Kalani Ili.
Nice little offload.
Howie Brown now chimes in, gets on the back of it. They look good when they get the second phase going, Troy.
How's the rhythm of this team changed?
Absolutely, and there's another penalty that will only add to it. Natani V wants to tap and go. Perhaps a little wishful thinking. But you're right, Troy, you mentioned the change of rhythm. All of a sudden, everything's very positive. All of a sudden, the offloads are sticking. They're not dropping the ball. Brown heads out towards the right edge where Tamua is involved. Brown gets on the back end of an offload there. So watch out for it. The second phase has been a key weapon here. Perhaps lucky to get away without conceding a penalty there. The Howick Hornets. Great carry forward there, I think, from Ellie. He's going to go all the way. And are we witnessing the start of something special here? The Mangere East Hawks are in again. 2 penalties in a row, and they make it count.
Great run as we watch the SAS Fox Memorial replay. Dummy half looking for the quick play of the ball. And he drew some defenders. Looked like he thought about offloading. This, no, just everybody come with me. Get on board. We're going this way.
Fantastic carry there from Kalani Ili, who takes them all the way. And even if he had offloaded, Troy, he had Junior Afoa waiting on his shoulder. That's brilliant rugby league there from the Hawks, who in a minute could be behind by only 20. Now, when I say only 20, that may not make sense if you haven't watched the rest of the game, but they were down by about 30 points before the game was 15 minutes old. It has been a very impressive start to the second half. Still got a lot of work to do Do the Hawks?
Head coach Matt for the Mangere East Hawks will be very happy with the way they started the second half.
And the kick is good off the boot of Howie Brown. So 42 points to 22. Just under an hour gone here in round 3 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. The Hornets, what's the talk going on there right now? A really bad start to the second half. After looking excellent in the opening 40 minutes, Edwards is going to get us back underway. And straight back into it they go. All of a sudden they're carrying with a bit more venom now. The introduction of co-captain Natani V has been a real positive for them as well. There's a penalty, that'll help.
Yeah, he managed to Shortland Street that one. Looked up and said, "Ref, give us a break," and that's coming right up onto the cameras. Oh, great effort.
Just about kept in there. Nice effort, as you mentioned, Troy, by Louis Tussa out here.
Louis just about joined us here in the commentary. He jumped that far out of the line. Looks like a little bit of a conversation going on there with the referee and Tony Tuia and a few of the boys as they get ready to
And
put the
Tony
scrum
Tuia
down.
rightly pointing out, Troy, that is a scrum, given that it was touched before it went out.
There's a couple of candidates in there for the worst haircut. Like 3 of them I can see just from that feed of the scrum. Oh, and they're out.
Down the blind side, V with a nice little run. Limoni, Halalilo with footwork at the line. A try here makes it very interesting. Natani V hands it off to the big fella, newly on the field, Whangupo. 20 meters out from the line. Kalani Ili comes up with the error, and that is unfortunate timing. Scored a lovely try a few minutes ago, but on that occasion the big fella perhaps guilty of just looking up and seeing what was in front of him before he'd caught the ball. And Howick dodged a bullet.
Linesman on here on the left, just having a little bit of a chin wag, getting our guys back on side. Big thank you to SAS Sporting Apparel, major sponsors of the SAS Fox Memorial.
So Howick, they need to find their way back into this game. Perhaps they do that off a few completed sets, just get back into their rhythm. Good carry forward there. We see Topo jumping into dummy half. Looks like he is fulfilling that dummy half role now. He's broken through here, Cruz Topo, and I think he's going to go all the way. Limoni's chasing. They're not going to catch him. What a break from the big fella out of the bottom of the ruck. And he goes all the way, a 60-meter run.
I will have to give him an SAS Fox replay.
Incredible stuff there out of dummy half.
There he goes. Step one. Big decision between those two big defenders, split them and gone. And I was just about to say, you know, Mangere East had slowed the play the ball down a wee bit, and then this gentleman decided to step in and speed it up, and look what came of it.
You can see the smile on his face. He can't believe it himself. Cruz Topo into open space, and he goes all the way. Beats the desperate chase from the Mangere East Hawks.
Well, I dare say by tomorrow when the replays go up, that will be on his Twitter feed.
So Radic to attempt the conversion from in front. And is that the try that sort of kills off this Mangere East resurgence? We will see in the next few minutes. Radic in the meantime, he remains perfect off the boot. And it is Howick Hornets 48, Mangere East Hawks 22. Plenty happening around the grounds in Auckland Rugby League outside of competition play as well. The Auckland Rugby Leagues had their holiday blast kickoff last week, or this week I should say. The 3-day camp at Cornwall Park. We've got Northcote and New Lynn camps coming up next week. Bit of a high shot there, perhaps on Wilson. Play on is the call. Friend jumps out of dummy half.
Oh, big collision.
Tell you what, after Cruz Topo's long-range effort just a few minutes ago, Jethro's number 9 jersey might be in a little bit of doubt. The big fella filling in admirably at the bottom of the ruck. You can see there again, Friend so good at it, just trying to lift the tempo. Misses Tuia, finds Radic, who goes out the back. Nice carry forward there from Vuiti Bau. Radic, basketball pass out the back, it's loose. Did that come off Mangere East last? We'll wait for confirmation from referee Taylor. And it's going to be a Mangere East ball. Howie Brown to play it. Nice carry there by Talamoni Finau.
Still pumping.
Still driving the legs. Wilson finishes off over the top. V tests out the mark of defence. Wilson ragdolls him to the ground, gets a quick play of the ball though, and gets a penalty at the end of it. What are we going to get? Which way is this going to go? Referee Taylor's going to have a chat to him here because I think they're...
Nick Wilson showed a bit of class there, even though, you know, there's a bit of aggression in the tackle and what have you, and the young fellow was certainly a little bit flustered from him. He sort of just smiled, nodded his head and walked away.
Yeah, and
just
so
get on with the game.
Taylor's saying there was a punch of sorts thrown in there, so it's going to be a Howick Hornets penalty. Radic kicks for touch.
Not a bad kick either. Jethro Friends made a few calls there. They're going to run it to the middle, You look for another runner straight off the ruck.
Junior Port takes it forward there. Ball's loose. It's Mangere East ball. So mistakes from both sides here.
Hang on.
And he's overturned it. It's going to be a strip. So the initial call was a knock on.
That's just lack of discipline there. Obviously somebody had given him a bit of lip. Tony Schooling a 2-something snap and a cut off Georgie, and he's standing out in the centres. Here's out of here. Here we go.
Connor Morris. Friend jumps out of dummy half. Wilson takes 3 with him.
Here we go. Looks like something's on out here on the left.
To the middle they come now. Bumping carry from Pulipaki. Balls come loose. Play on's the call so far. We are going to go back for a knock on there. So the Hawks, good defence. They dodged the bullet on that occasion. But all of a sudden the clock is very much against them here. They need to get things going, do the Mangere East Hawks. "15 minutes or so left in this one at Paparoa Park. Molly Sealer fight getting involved in the work now out of yardage. High shot there, and so they'll get marched downfield. It's Troy Pulipaki, who has been very active in this game, has the young fella. Limoni kicks for touch, gets every last bit he can out of it as well.
Oh,
Ball comes loose. What's the call going to be? Play on is the call. So got a little bit lucky there, did the Hawks. Halalilo takes Wilson with him. Natani V. Howard Brown comes back inside to Kalani Ili. V to Brown. Brown, the cutout pass out to the right edge, but they numbered up well there at Howick.
Hawks have been pretty successful out on that right edge in the second half.
Kalani Ili gets a nice offload out the back to Natane V, who's only got the fullback to beat. Is he going to get there? We wait for confirmation from referee Taylor. He is going to get there. And put it down to the carry of Kalani Ili. Let's take a look on the SAS replay. You can see here, Ili lines up for it.
Nice ball.
Brown misses a couple out, just sucks those defenders in there, Troy, and then from there it's just a beautiful offload. And Natane V gets into some space. It's a fair chase from Pulipaki, who just about managed to hold him up, but V gets over for the try.
He hit that ball a lot of velocity, eh? He was coming on hard, and I don't think they were going to stop him that far out.
So Brown, he'll want to put this one over fairly quickly, because the clock very much now is their enemy, the Mangere East Hawks. It's been that way since about the 15th minute of this game. Brown makes no mistake, so 48-28, 20-point ball game. It looks unlikely, but they've given themselves a sniff. Howick, unsurprisingly, in no rush to get things back underway. And there's a deep one off the boot of Edwards.
Great catch.
Fielded well by Limoni. Fungal pole into it. And he's in some pain here, and they're showing some concern, the Howick Hornets. And that does not look good for Frank Fungal pole.
He's going to get up and try and play the ball.
He's in some real discomfort. He looks like a knee there, perhaps, Troy. So time is off for the time being. Trainer there just...
A lot of influencing going on the field there. Yeah, the defence guys all talking about great contact, play the ball. You know, nothing to see here, move along. And he's going to shake that off.
And back into it we go. Ili has had a couple of mistakes today, but he's been pretty good. The young fella in the front row for the Hawks. Captain the Rabbitohs under-20s last year. Played Counties Manukau under-15s and under-18s.
He's been strong on attack. Only a couple of lapses in a wee bit of the D, and that was down early in the first half.
Ball is loose. It's scrappy from Mangere East, but Brown cleans up. And if they are to get out of this, it'll be Howie Brown, who is at the forefront of it. Battling for the quick play of the ball now. Shuffles play on Limoni. The kick from halfway. The wing is up. It's a decent little kick there. And I guess at this stage of the game, probably not ideal for Mangere East with the ball going out, but nice play there from Inga Limoni. They're going to pack down a scrum here, about 15 metres off the line, I would say.
Thank you for joining us on the ARLleague.co.nz live stream. We'll be putting the game in your hand week in and week out right through to the finals. So make sure you log on each week and enjoy the football that is provided free to all the rugby league fans in the Auckland region. Well, around the world.
Well, that's right, yeah, and a big game next week, Troy, as we get into some Crown Lift Trucks Sharman Cup action. Mangere East taking on Ponsonby. That one will be live from Birkenhead War Memorial, in addition to our main game, which will see the Northcote Tigers taking on the Papakura Sea Eagles.
Looking forward to that match too, Corey. I think it'd be great to see Northcote Tigers in action.
One of the real smokies last year were the Tigers. Just missed out on a playoff spot in the end. I think the season had gone for a few weeks longer. They may well have been there. Now as the ball spills out the back, that's enthusiastic defence from Mangere East. They've forced the error. And now they're going to pack down the scrum here. They're not in much of a rush, but I'd be packing that scrum as soon as I could, get that clock stopped and get into it, boys, because you've got a 20-point deficit to try and address. Less than 10 minutes to go.
I noticed this earlier, they were a wee bit slow to pack down. I think that was because they were parking a few of the big boys out in the back line. A couple of young, smaller guys weren't too keen about getting in the scrum, Corey. Well, they've got their full pack there now, so let's see what they dream up.
Lemoni brings Finau into the game. Finau's broken free. Finau, he's still going. That's great work. That is individual brilliance there from Talamoni Finau, who scores the try. Taylor points to the spot. And at 48 points to 32, do they dare dream, Troy? Take a look here
I'm
on
looking for words for that question.
the SAS replay.
Great run,
we
though.
see Finau put it down, but you mentioned it, Troy. Just a great run, a powerful run. Looked up, had a fair bit of work to do.
Yeah, he showed some good toe, great speed. He left these guys standing. You watch him split the line.
That's right.
They sort of stumbled, regathered his balance, and head up, gone. Great try.
Kick to come, and every point is obviously important at this stage for Mangere East. Howie Brown, it's not going to be an easy one. Roughly 5.5 minutes remaining in this match. They will need to score on every use of the ball, you would think. Brown.
Now I'm trying to work with somebody who's so fantastic at math, and that would be you, Corey. In the first half, we were hovering around 42 points with Howick, and if you have a look at the second half scores, it's really been all Mangere East traffic so far.
Brown off the boot, and flags are up.
Because all of that's come in the last, what are we, 30 odd minutes?
Absolutely. So we are set up for a thrilling final 5 minutes after it looked in the first half like the Howick Hornets were going to stroll home, but a brilliant second half from the Mangere East Hawks. So Howick get us back underway. Bouncing ball taken by Lemoni. Into it they go to the ID.
Yeah, the young Hawks starting to show some real enthusiasm now.
Mangere East now shuffle out towards this left edge. They're into a little bit of space again now. They find Lahengoa, who heads back in field. The flick pass, and unfortunately, it's a beautiful pass, but it's to the wrong man. Wilson there, he got hit hard. He was defenseless.
Yeah.
And they just need to complete the set. You would think the Howick Hornets and have just about got this one in the bag.
Hawks defense lines down a defender.
Vuiti Bell, who's been good today, scored a try. And has carried with purpose. Friend Tutuia again. He's played big minutes today, has Tony T. Friend engages the marker now. They got numbers advantage here, do the Hawks. Wilson says, I'll go on my own. Finished off by Illy, so that's a handover there. They need to get things going here, the Hawks. Again, it's sluggish. Tamua. Looking to get them out of trouble here. They've got a long way to go.
Ooh, big hit as the Hawks were trying to grind it outside their 20. Referee didn't like that and calls a scrum. Oh.
And so now looking like the Howick Hornets are going to go on and win this one. 42-6 leaders at half-time. It has been all the Hawks in the second half. They've fought valiantly, have the visitors. But it's now looking very much like it will be the Hornets who finish this one off. Tony Tui is still talking.
Big guys will be having a breather here at this point. They'll be loving that as the Hawks second row up in the background here is getting walked off the field by the trainer.
And Nicholas Halalilo taken off there, a bit of a limp it looks like. Do join us next week, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live again for our first double header of the season in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership. It'll be Northcote taking on Papakura. And in the curtain raise of the Crown Life Truck Shaman Cup, Mangere, we're taking on Ponsonby. So very much looking forward to that one.
That's going to be a thriller. Okay, clock back on.
George Edwards, the winger, looks like he's moved into halfback for the closing exchanges of the game. Radic, boy, he's been good today, has Drew Radic, the number 7. Scored a couple of tries and kicked beautifully off the tee as well. A perfect record off the boot, I believe. Tony Tuia, wouldn't he love to finish this game off with a double? Scored in the first half. Friend shuffles the ball out to the left. Radic, looping ball over the top. There's another try for the Howick Hornets, and it is Anthony Foimano. Goes over for his second, but put it down to the beautiful work of Drew Radic, the looping ball in over the top. Let's take a look now on the replay here. Ball almost coming loose there.
He was trying to offload. We were thinking about it.
You can see Radic there, just great vision, beautiful work from our cameraman there, really summing up that pass. And then from there, Foimano just had to run it in to grab his second try of the day. And with that try, the Hornets go over the half-century mark. Radic now with a final minute kick to keep what we believe is a perfect kicking record in order today.
Yeah, he's had a great day on the boot, that young fella.
I think he may be getting trash talked by his own manager there. We can see Dan Rawson, I think, in the frame of the shot there, just giving Drew a little word.
Yeah, don't lose the ball. They've lost enough of them.
So time off for the time being, but it's really irrelevant at this point because it is going to be the Hornets who get the win, and Radic is away. So he is human after all.
You've just given him the kiss of death. Corey, well done. So they might get a kickoff here. Don't go away after the game, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be interviewing the captains from both sides. Corey will get in front of them, and we'll also be looking for the player of the day.
Yeah, a few contenders, I think, for player of the day as well. Jethro Friends had a fine game in the middle. Nick Wilson's been busy out on the edge, but also Drew Radic, I think, has created plenty, scored a couple of tries himself, really led this team around the park nicely. There's also a couple of boys you could probably give it to in this Mangere East team who have been excellent in the second half. Natani V really sparking them to life. As the siren goes in the background, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. And it is the Scott Electrical Howick Hornets 52, Burger King Mangere East Hawks 34. Comfortable winners in the end, but the game certainly a lot more exciting than the scoreboard would suggest. It was a brilliant second half from the Hawks. They'll take plenty out of that. But the Howick Hornets, well, they were almost untouchable in the first half. 42 points they scored. They were up by about 30 before the game was even 15 minutes old. Doubles for Drew Radic and Anthony Foima-Ono, as well as tries to several other members of the forward pack. So do stay with us. We're going to hear from both Jethro Friend and Howard Brown at the conclusion of this game. But with that, the Howick Hornets maintain their perfect start to the year. 3 from 3 for the East Auckland Giants, beaten in the major semi-final last year. It's been a brilliant start to the year for them without Reece Joyce, their inspirational halfback, without Royden Gillett in the centres, and of course Trent Bishop in the middle of the park. But they're tracking pretty well, are the Hornets, and are a good shot of leading the competition at the conclusion of this round. So we are now going to take a very short break before we hear from the captains of both the Mangere East Hawks and the Howick Hornets.
Thanks, Corey, and I know he's going to be over there in front of the captains, and we'll be doing that as we look for our remote mic. And I'll just have a quick look around as we have a look-see, and it's up there. Just can you grab that for me? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, as you stay with us. On screen, Mangere East Hawks having a chat with their crew, and the Howick team have just thanked their supporters as we get to flip now to the other feed as Corey gets over to where the players are now, and we go and arrange all of our captains' interviews.
Probably the biggest thing was attitude we spoke about. The boys just wanted it more, and I guess it showed in the second half.
Slow starts are becoming a bit of a concerning trend this year. How do you address that?
Everyone just has to turn up, really. Howard came out wanting it more in the first half. We started slow, so yeah, maybe we'll work on it next week and hopefully start strong next week in the first half.
Some real positives to take out of it, though. Obviously, that second half, you're hoping you can build off that momentum going into next week?
Yeah, definitely. Like we said, we've got to get our attitude right at training and before the game, and so yeah, hopefully we start and bang next week, get a W again.
Another positive, some real standouts in your forward pack again. Jacob Tamua in particular leading from the front.
We knew it was going to be a forwards game. That was going to be back. So give it up to the boys for muscling up. So yeah, it's up to them.
So that does us from Paparoa Park. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we are live next week. We've got a double header coming up. North Coast Tigers taking on the Papakura Sea Eagles in the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership game, as well as the curtain raiser between the Manurewa Marlins and the Ponsonby Ponies. We will be live from 12 p.m. Do keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz for all the results and reaction from today's games. We'll see you next week.
Live League Action. action. In 2018, the Auckland Rugby League is putting the game in your hands. Never miss a hit from New Zealand's premier rugby league competition. Run it straight to the breakfast team Fridays from 8:20 a.m. when they tackle the toughest competition in town. To get the inside edge on where you can watch the action live and free, head up aucklandleague.co.nz. Live league action, aucklandleague.co.nz.